Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to all of you to the second year of your Diploma Mechanical Engineering program at Sharad Institute of Technology, Polytechnic Gadra, Isilganj. Students, I, Mr. N.S. Patil, along with my fellow colleagues Mr. S.N. Bodke and Mr. B.J. Zubre, will hereafter teach you the subject Strength of Materials, whose abbreviation you can see over here as SOM. We call it as SOM, and its course code is 22306. Friends, this particular subject carries theory paper of 70 marks. There is progress assessment of 30 marks, which comes under theory. That is, there will be test of 20 marks each. There will be two tests, and there will be 10 marks for your micro projects. Then under practical, we will have the end semester exam. It is of internal in nature, that is of 25 marks. Then we will have progress assessment regarding those practicals that we perform in our labs, that will carry 25 marks. So total weightage of this particular subject SOM will be of 150 marks. Okay, now let us go to the syllabus. Friends, there are 6 topics or 6 units under our subject. The first one is moment of inertia. It carries a weightage of 6 marks. The second one is simple stresses and strains. It carries 10 marks. The third is mechanical properties and elastic constants. It carries 8 marks. The fourth unit is of shear force, bending moment and shear stresses, bending stresses. It carries 28 marks. Okay, remember here, the 28 marks here are divided into 14 and 14. That is, shear force and bending moment will carry 14 marks, and shear stresses and bending stresses will carry 14 marks. Then the next topic is of torsion. It is of 8 marks. And the last topic or the last unit is direct and bending stresses. It is of 10 marks. So the total weightage of 70 marks is distributed in this manner. Now let us go through the syllabus. Let us go through the points under various units one by one. Now the first unit, that is moment of inertia. The moment of inertia has 4 subunits as you can see over here. The first subunit is of concept of moment of inertia, effect of moment of inertia in case of beam and columns. Remember here, under the concept of moment of inertia, we will have some theory part. Okay, we will learn what is moment of inertia, how moment of inertia is taken into consideration, what are its effect on beams and columns. Then after that, in the second point, in the second sub point in this under this unit, we will have MI, that is moment of inertia. Remember, MI is the short form for moment of inertia. MI about the axis passing through centroid. We will find out the moment of inertia about the axis passing through centroid. I think those students who have completed their first year mechanical diploma, they will be somewhat familiar with the term centroid. They have studied that under the course applied mechanics. Those who have taken admission as direct second year diploma students, don't worry about that. In the due period, we will learn what exactly is centroid. So in this point, we are going to learn what is centroid. We are going to learn what is the standard values of the moment of inertia that pass to the centroids. Then what is parallel and perpendicular axis theorem, what is polar moment of inertia, and what is radius of gyration. Generally, these 2 points, that is point number 1.1 and point number 1.2, are theoretical in nature. Then comes moment of inertia of standard basic shapes, the point 1.3. In this point, where it is written moment of inertia of standard basic shapes, what we will do, we will find the moment of inertia of standard basic shapes such as rectangle, square, triangle, circle, semicircle and quarter circle. We will have various values of the standard shapes. We will have their values at x-axis and y-axis. What is x-axis and y-axis and what are the values of its moment of inertia, we will learn in the due course. Then the last point under this topic or under this unit is 1.4, which is moment of inertia of composite plane figures. When we think of composite plane figures, it is different than the standard shapes. For example, suppose a rectangle consists of a semicircle placed over it. Imagine what I am trying to say. If, consider a rectangle, frame a rectangle in front of you, then it will have on its top a semicircle. It is not a standard shape. It will be a composite shape. Or suppose there is a circle which will have a square hole in it. Are you getting? A circle with a square hole. Such shapes are called composite shapes. Again with it, there will be various composite shapes like the T section, the L section, the C section or the channel section. Likewise, the first year students, means those students who have completed their diploma first year, they will be somewhat familiar with these sections. They have learned it there. Then let us go to the second unit. The second unit is of simple stresses and strains. It has numerous subpoints under it. Now let us go through it one by one. The first subpoint, that is subpoint number 2.1. It is regarding equilibrium, rigid body and deformable body. The students of 11th and 12th who have studied physics, the students who have completed their first year will be somewhat familiar with this point. They might be knowing what is equilibrium, what is a rigid body, what is a deformable body. As the name indicates here, a deformable body means the body that can be deformed. By application of any external force, we can deform the body, then that body is called as deformable body. We will learn about that in detail in that point. Then under point 2.2, we will have axial stresses. What is the meaning of axial stresses? We will learn over here. Then what are the various resistances and the type of stresses. We will learn first what is a stress, what are the various axial stresses, its meaning and all. Then we will have axial strain, which is also called as linear strain. Again, we will have longitudinal strain and various types of strains hereafter. Then in point number 2.3, we are going to learn Hooke's law. Hooke's law, majority of students must have learned what is Hooke's law in the previous year in physics somewhere. We will study it again. Then we will study Young's modulus. We will see how Young's modulus is used in strength of materials to determine strength of materials. Then we will see what is axial deformation in the body and how body deforms by applying force, whether the force is inward or outward, and how the bodies which are placed in series and how they are affected through these various forces. Okay. Then in point 2.4, we'll study the behavior of ductile and brittle materials, how the ductile material behave when force is applied on it, how the brittle material behaves when the force is applied on it. We are going to study under this point. After that, we are going to draw the stress strain diagram or the load deformation curve. The stress strain diagram or load deformation curve is a very important point. Remember here, we are going to draw the stress strain diagram for MS as well as of CI, that is mild steel and cast iron. It is very important from exam point of view also and from the learning point of view also. Then we will see the various points on it, that is limit of proportionality, yielding, permanent stress, yield stress and ultimate stress regarding that particular curve. Then in point 2.5, we will study shear stress and shear strain. We will study here what is shear stress and shear strain. Then we will see what is modulus of rigidity. Then we will see punching shear, what are the shear connectors, single and double shear. The students who have studied the physics at their first year diploma level or who have studied physics at their 11th and 12th level might be somewhat familiar with these terms. We'll study them in detail later. Then under point 2.6, we will have temperature stress. Temperature stress means what? When heat is given to a body and when it is subjected to some amount of force, what are the various stresses induced in it? We are going to learn in this. Under this temperature stress, what we are going to learn? Again, temperature stress and strain in case of bodies having uniform cross-section, deformation of when it is fully prevented, and their field examples. We will have numericals on it. Remember, this particular second topic of simple stress and strain will be somewhat theoretical as well as numerical in nature. Most of its part, that is from point number 2.5 and 2.6, will be of numerical in nature. Okay, then we will have third topic, mechanical properties and elastic constants. In this, we are going to learn the type of loads related to deformation, flexure, torsion, shear, etc. Here we are going to see various types of loads that affect the bodies that are under a working condition, the various types of machines which undergo some type of loads, and various such examples we are going to study under this point. Then here in point 3.2 we will learn mechanical properties like elasticity, plasticity, ductility, brittleness, malleability, fatigue, creep, toughness, hardness. All these properties we are going to study one by one. Remember, engineer, a mechanical engineer should be well defined. He should be well equipped with the mechanical properties. He should know what are the various mechanical properties, which material possesses which property. He should be well aware of that. So for that we are going to study mechanical properties. Then we will have strength. What exactly strength stands for? As you know, the name of our course or subject is strength of materials. So here we are going to learn what is strength, what is factor of safety, what is stiffness and flexibility. Later, after that we are going to learn under point 3.4 linear and lateral strength. After that we are going to see what is Poisson's ratio, changes in lateral dimensions and all. After that, in point 3.5 we will see uni, bi and triaxial stresses. So what is uniaxial stress, what is biaxial stress and what is triaxial stress? As the name indicates, uni stands for 1, bi stands for 2, tri stands for 3. So various stresses acting along one axis, along two axis and along three axis we are going to learn under this point. And we'll see what are the various strength that occur in each direction. After that we are going to learn bulk modulus and then volumetric strength. Then in this third topic under point 3.6 we are going to see the relation between three moduli. There are various modulus like Bulk's modulus, there is modulus of rigidity, there is Young's modulus, and there is, as you have seen earlier, I have discussed earlier, Poisson's ratio. So we are going to see the relation between all these three modulus along with Poisson's ratio. Then under point 3.7 we are going to see stresses due to gradual, sudden and impact load. Under point 3.1 we have seen the types of loads. So gradual, sudden and impact are types of loads. Okay. So what are the stresses caused by these loads? The corresponding deformation, the strain energy, its resilience, what is proof resilience and what is modulus of resilience we are going to see over here. Okay. Now the biggest topic or the biggest unit, the fourth unit. Shear force, bending moment and shear stress, bending stress. Remember, when you look at this unit, you should not look it as a one unit. It consists of two units. That is shear force and bending moment as separate unit and shear stress and bending stress as separate unit. So, while considering shear force and bending moment, what are the various points under it? Let us see one by one. The first point under this is types of beams, such as simply supported, overhang, cantilever. Okay, the students that have completed first year might be knowing these types of beams. Then the types of loads, whether it is point load, uniform load or uniform distributed load or uniformly varying load. Remember, uniformly varying load is not mentioned over here. Just for namesake we will take that in our syllabus. Then the bending of beam and the deflected shape of beam, how the beam exactly bends and all those theory related issues of beams we are going to learn in this particular point. Then after that in point 4.2 we are going to see the meaning of SF. SF stands for shear force and BM. BM stands for bending moment. We are going to see that in this particular point. Then we will see the relation between SF and BM, that is shear force and bending moment, and sign convention. Sign convention means what? When to take positive and when to take negative we are going to learn under this particular point. After that in point 4.3 we are going to learn SFD and BMD. SFD stands for shear force diagram and BMD stands for bending moment diagram. We are going to learn SFD and BMD, the location of point of maximum bending moment, deflected shape from bending moment, location of point of contraflexion. So remember, This SFD and BMD plays a very important role in engineer's life. As time passes, we learn about this. Then, under 4.4, we study theory of simple bending. Now remember, from here, this particular point, that is shear stresses and bending stresses starts. So till 4.1 to 4.3, it was shear force and bending moment, and from 4.4 onwards, it is it is shear stresses, bending stresses. So the first point under shear stresses and bending stresses is theory of simple bending. It is a theoretical point. How simple bending? What is simple bending and how it happens? That we are going to see. What are the assumptions in theory of bending? That we are going to see. The flexural formula and the neutral axis. Okay. The flexural formula here is very important. It plays a very important role not only in this topic, in further topics also. Then we will have moment of resistance. What is section modulus? We will study over here. Then we will study bending stresses. The bending stress variation diagram across the depth of cantilever, simply supported beam for symmetric and unsymmetric section. So symmetric and unsymmetric sections. As I have told you earlier, we have seen in the early topic, that is the topic number 1, while explaining you the composite planes, I have told you something about I section, P section, C section or channel section, something like that. So such sections will come in picture over here. We'll see the bending stress distribution of those sectional beams. So what exactly it is, we will see in coming lectures. Okay, don't worry about that. It's a simple point. Don't get confused. Then next point is of transverse shear stress, average and maximum shear stress variation diagram. Okay, this particular topic is of numerical in nature. Means you will have very less questions of theoretical nature. The most of the theoretical nature questions will be what is theory of simple bending, what are the various assumptions, etc. Then the fifth topic, that is of torsion. Now in this particular topic we are going to learn what exactly torsion stands for. So you must be knowing about the fan or the shafts. Those rotate. So while rotation, what changes occur in that body? What exactly in terms of stress happen to that body? We are going to learn in this particular topic. Okay, in torsion we are going to see the concept, that is the concept of torsion, the field examples like shaft, flange coupling, shear bolts, etc. Then we are going to see what is torsional rigidity. Then we are going to see the torsional equation. The torsional equation, remember, as I have earlier told you, the flexural formula in the fourth topic. The torsional equation is somewhat like flexural formula. Okay, and the assumptions under torsion we are going to see in the fifth topic. Then in the next point, that is point 5.2, we are going to learn torsional resistance for hollow and solid circular shafts, what that stands for and the numericals regarding that, and then power transmitted by shaft and replacement of section. Replacement of section means suppose a solid shaft is replaced by hollow shaft, or different shafts are replaced for the same power, for the same torque, like that. We're going to see what exactly happens to that shaft. Okay, and the last topic, that is the direct and bending stresses. Under direct and bending stresses, we are going to learn axial and eccentric loads, then effects of eccentricity, field examples of that like hook, clamp, bench, vice, etc. Remember, in earlier topic we have seen the types of load. So axial and eccentric load are also the type of load. We will learn that under the type of load also, and we will learn it in this topic also. Okay. Again, under point 6.2 we will have axial stress and bending stress, then resultant stress, intensities, resultant stress, variation, and all we will learn over here. Then under point 6.3 we will have limiting eccentricity, core of section. What core of section means? Core of section also called as kernel of the section. What is kernel, what is core, we will see over here. What is limit of eccentricity, and how it is related to the no tension condition, we will learn over this in this particular topic. Okay, so likewise we will have 6 topics totaling about 70 marks. I hope you to give a glimpse about the syllabus, and then we'll start with the syllabus. Okay, scheme for the paper, how the 70 marks are distributed, how the questions come in examination. So seeing the sample question paper, we will learn how the questions come in examination, what weightage, actual weightage is there for each topic and all those things. Now first of all, we'll see the first question. Question number 1, there will be 7 questions. Of that 7 questions, we have to attempt any 5 questions, and each question will carry 2 marks. You can see over here that question number 1A comes from first topic, 1B comes from second, 1C from third, 1D from fourth, 1E from fourth, again from 1F from sixth, and 1G from sixth. It's not always the case that that particular question will come from that topic only, but in general such questions will be asked. Now for second question, we will have attempt any 3. There will be 4 questions in that. Of that we have to solve any 3 questions. So in that we will have the first question from moment of inertia, that is first topic, second question from the second topic, third question from third topic, and fourth question from fourth topic, in this manner. Now you can see over here the difference between the question number 1 and question number 2. In question number 1 you will find that the most of the questions are of theoretical nature. Means you will be asked here definitions, formulas, machine components, drawings, etc., or the principles. While from second question, majority of focus shifts to numericals. Question number 2A is a numerical. Question number 2B is a theoretical question. You have to draw there a drawing. Then again question number 2C is a numerical. Question number 2D is numerical. So from question number 2, out of these 4 questions, 3 are numericals and 1 will be the theory question. Okay. Maximum weightage for question number 2 is of numericals. Okay. Then let us go for question number 3. Again for question number 3 we will have solve any 3 of the following. Here too we will have 12 marks. From 4 questions we have to solve 3 questions over here. Again you can see over here question number 3A is a theoretical question where you are asked parallel axis theorem. So that is clearly a theoretical question. You will have question number 3B as a numerical. Again you will have question number 3C as a numerical and question number 3D as a numerical. Again the pattern here you can observe is same as that of question number 2. You will have more numericals in this question. Then in question number 4A, same thing happens. Here all the questions you observe, those are of numerical in nature. Remember that in strength of materials, numerical is very of prime importance. You have to remember those formulas, you have to go through the theorems, and you have to solve the questions properly. Okay, so from question number 4A, first question of 4A is from topic 4 or unit 4, that is a numerical. 4B is also numerical, 4C is also numerical, 4D is also numerical, and 4E is also numerical. But remember here there is a change of pattern from question number 2, 3 and 4. In 2 and 3 you have observed that there were 4 questions asked and you have to solve only 3 questions out of that. Means in question number 2 we'll go again there. In question number 2 you have to attempt any 3 from 4 questions. Same happened in question number 3, but there is slight change in question number 4. There are 5 questions asked over here and you have to solve only 3 questions. Why so? Because all these 5 questions in question number 4 are of numerical in nature, while in question number 3 and question number 2 you will get one theoretical question, so you have one less option there. But as all the questions here are of numerical in nature, you will have one more option, that is you will have 5 questions. Out of that you have to solve 3 questions. Okay, then moving forward, then question number 5 and question number 6. The question number 5 and question number 6 will have 12 marks. Okay, same as those previous questions, but here you have to attempt any 2 questions. Means every question will carry a weightage of 6 marks. Okay, the first question from question number 5 is asked on topic 2, that is unit 2, second on unit 4, and third on unit 6. Remember these are also numericals. Okay, most of the times numericals will be asked, or there will be a blend of numerical and theoretical question in this particular question number 5. Then again moving forward, we will have last question, that is question number 6, and here too you have to solve 2 questions only, and those will account for 12 marks. Remember here also there are 3 questions, and of that you have to solve only 2 questions. Okay, these questions are also of numerical in nature, as you can see over here. So remember, maximum focus of our subject lies on numerical. If you are observed properly, you will get numericals in all questions and theoretical questions in only in question number 1 and question number 2 and question number 3. That too of very less marks. Okay. So if you are solving for 70 marks, it is possible that you will be attempting at most for theory only for 10 of question number 1 and 4 plus 4 of question number 2 and question number 3. So total 18 marks theory is only asked. So remember, remaining all those marks you have to gather from numericals. So your prime focus should be on numericals. Again, we will summarize this. Okay, what you have learned over here, we'll summarize once again. And remember, this summary is very important. You have to go through it properly. You should know which topic you have to study hard and which topic you can let it go. Remember, you have to do every topics, but there can be some topics that you can let it go or you can skip some part of that. But most of the topics are very important. Now remember, first topic, that is moment of inertia. The marks allocated in the syllabus, particular table, we are going to see how much marks are allocated to that particular topic with option. So how extra marks you can get, we will study in this particular table. Okay, so for unit number 1, the first topic, moment of inertia, as the marks here you can see over is 6, but with option you will have 10 marks. So when you go through the question paper, you will find that there will be 2 questions of theory and 2 questions numerical. Okay, so moment of inertia somewhat it will be balanced. Okay, then to here numerical is of very prime importance, remember. Then for unit number 2, we will have simple stresses and strains. The mark allocated in the syllabus is only 10 marks and only 2 more marks are given with option here. So we will have only 12 marks for simple stresses and strains, and most of these questions are theoretical in nature. You will have only mostly only one question will be asked of numerical nature, and remaining all those questions will be of theoretical nature. Now for unit number 3, the topic is mechanical properties and elastic constants. The marks allocated for this particular topics is 8 marks. With option it will carry 14 marks. Remember over here that 6 more marks than compulsory is there in option. Okay, so you can have more inclination towards this topic as it carries more marks than allocated marks. Okay, remember here for topic number 2 you have 10 marks. For 10 marks with option there will be only 12. For the 12 marks it will be asked. But for topic number 3 or unit number 3, for as per the format given by the board, only 8 marks are given, but with option we will have 14 marks. Okay, now moving forward, for unit number 2, that the unit whose name is shear forces bending moment and shear stresses bending stresses, the marks allocated by the MSBT is 28 and only 32 marks are given for this topic. Remember, this is the biggest and the lengthiest topic. It carries more weightage, but it is also quite kind of difficult topic. While learning you will see. Okay, we'll make it easy in our teaching learning process, but this also carries only 4 more marks than the marks allocated by board. Okay, the next topic is of torsion. The torsion is given for 8 marks by the MSBT, and with option through the sample question paper what we have learned, 14 marks, the questions for 14 marks will be asked. Okay, but for the last topic, that is direct and bending stresses, the marks allocated by MSBT is only 10, but with option you will have the questions for 20 marks. Remember here, you have marks allocated with option as 20, so you will have twice the weightage than which is already given in the syllabus. So you can focus more on direct and bending stresses. Okay, now again, which particular units have theoretical questions more, we will learn that. So moment of inertia will have at most 2 questions of theory nature, while unit number 2 and unit number 3 will have most of the question of theoretical nature. Unit number 4 will also have only 1 or 2 questions of theoretical nature. Unit number 5, it has only 3 questions of theoretical nature, while unit number 6 has only 4 questions of theoretical nature. If we go through all the syllabus, when we complete the whole syllabus, we'll get only those much of questions which are theoretical nature. Remaining all the questions are of numerical in nature. Okay, so the total marks accounting with option is 102, while the total mark given is 70 as per our board. So remember, here you have to focus more on numericals rather than theory. So in due process of time, when our course starts, when we have unit number 1, unit number 2, unit number 3 and so on, we will go through all those concepts one by one. We'll show you which things you have to on which things you have to concentrate on, and on which things you have to let it go, and where you have to focus. Okay, I think everyone is clear regarding the structure of the question paper. Okay, today what we have discussed, we have discussed only the structure of the question paper. From next lecture we are going to go through the syllabus. Okay, so we'll start from unit number 2, simple stress and strain, and then unit number 3 we will take, and after that we will move to unit number 1. Why so? Because these two topics are of theoretical nature, and mostly those are of introductory kind, particular topics, and then after we'll take first topic, 4th, 5th and 6th. Okay, so we are going to complete all those topics in this due process. If you have any doubt regarding this, you can post in the comment section. I will get to it in the next video. Okay, thank you very much.